Judy, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, there's Gail. All right. I am gonna call the July 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Lacey Planning Commission to order. Roll call, so everybody's here except for Elliot. And that's it.
And Jennifer.
And Jennifer, sorry. I'm gonna ask Kieran, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
We, the city of Lacey, are on the ancestral land of the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, including the Nisqually Indian tribe and the Squaxin Island tribe. We acknowledge and remember those tribal people not recognized today who were absorbed or relocated into their tribes for survival. We recognize the ancestors and their descendants who are still here. We recognize and respect the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek as the traditional stewards of this land since time immemorial, and their role today in taking care of these lands in perpetuity. We recognize and have the responsibility to call attention to the histories of dispossession, forced removal, and abridged treaty rights that are allowed our nation, state, and city to develop as they have today. We recommend that community members read the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854.
Thank you very much. Okay, I would be looking for a motion on tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome. Everybody have a chance to look at the June 25 minutes? If so, I'd look for a motion on those.
To approve the June 25 minutes.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Judy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Awesome. So we have nobody registered for public comment. There isn't anybody online or in the audience that wants to comment tonight. So I will go to commission members' reports. Anybody?
Just a reminder for everyone that you should have received your ballots and they're due August 5th. And I've been going to the Lacey night markets and I've been having a great time. So if you haven't been, they're every other Friday. The world who's listening and watching me in a few hours. And they've just been a really great addition to our community. So it's been fun to kind of just check them out every other Friday on DuPont.
Nice. I went by the Lacey and Tune with the Elvis impersonator last week. I've seen him before. He's really good. It was well turned out for a hot day. Judy, do you have anything?
I do. I just wanted to share an observation that over the 4th of July holiday weekend, there was some very generous display of patriotism at the Hogum Bay, that new development, that commercial development. There's a building under construction and they put a very large banner up to celebrate 4th of July. If anyone else saw it.
That's awesome.
I think it was just the construction team that did it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Department report.
Well, a few things. One of the things I'll just mention right off the top is that we will be having a booth for our comprehensive plan update at the Lacey Night Market on Friday. So if anybody wants to attend, stop by. We'll have planning staff there with some giveaways and trying to solicit for more information or more feedback on the comprehensive plan process. And that's what Hansel's here to present on tonight. So
Remind us of the times.
the time is 4
4 to 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing that I wanted to mention really quickly, I think most people have noticed this by now, but it's new as of since last time the planning commission met, which is the crane on Martin Way. We've talked about before, the crane on Martin Way is now down. So as of, I think July 1st is when that started coming down. So good news there that the city has been in the process of facilitating trying to get it sold, that project sold to another group to pick that up. So in that process, we were able to facilitate the crane coming down. So it's positive news on that front.
Spencer.
Yeah,
question.
could you expound on that? You said that you were trying to get a company to take over. Are they planning to continue the construction project?
That's the idea. There is some, some construction logistical issues with picking up the project, depending on where it's at in the process and,
How long it's at?
how long it's sat, how long it's been out in the weather, so more to come on that. Our hope would be that somebody would be able to pick it up and move forward with the approvals that it already has, but there's certainly not any guarantee, and at this point, chances are there may be additional approvals that are needed. Our typical requirement is permit becomes invalid if there's been 6 months between inspections. And at this point, there's been well over 6 months of time between inspections on that site. So we would need to reactivate those permits and go through a process to be able to do that.
Well, and anybody who wants to move forward is gonna have to get some engineering reports.
Oh, yeah.
on what's deteriorated since it
Yeah.
was abandoned, yeah.
My understanding is there's exposed rebar and other things that may not fare well in the weather, especially,
Here.
The climate we're at,
And then my final thing is to officially introduce Catherine Bisser. Catherine is a new permit technician in the Community and Economic Development.
There you go. Yeah.
New permit technician in our department, and we're excited to have her. This is her third day, officially being full-time in our department. She came from our Public Works Department, so a nice promotion for her, ability to bring her over and work in our department. So for a while, there was some transition where she was still kind of working for Public Works, but yet still was technically in the Community Development Department. Now she's formally here all the way. So you may be seeing Catherine at future Planning Commission meetings. So she's here to kind of learn how to set things up and do the Zoom and all those things from Aaron. So yeah, welcome, Catherine.
Okay. Sorry for Scott, but happy for.
They're mourning me.
And that's the end of my report.
Awesome. We have no public hearing, don't have any new business, so we're gonna go to old business. Which is not to say Hans is old, but business is old. So go ahead, Hans, take over.
All right, well, hello, everyone. It feels like it has been a little while since I've been here, so maybe old business in that sense. But I am going to be sharing an update on where we're at in the comprehensive plan process. And I have some slides to go along with that, so we'll see if I can get them going here.
You're doing a shut down that window on the right, just hit the X on that, so it pulls it up a little more. There we go.
All right, yep, so some of this is gonna be a refresher, some of it's gonna be new, and we're also gonna be coming back in August with more of a comprehensive rundown of what July has been, so more to come on that. But yeah, right now we are what we're calling we're in the midst of phase 3 of the update to the comprehensive plan. We started back in the beginning of 2024 with a lot of visioning exercises to kind of identify priorities for the community, taking all that feedback and then kind of distilling it down into common themes, things that we were hearing, and then building from that and actually writing draft goals and policies based on all of that feedback, which is where we're at today. So we've drafted all of the goals and policies based on that feedback, and now we're actually re-releasing it for another round of community review. And really the objective of this round of community review is, did we get it right? Did we hear you correctly? Are there elements that we missed in the feedback that you previously provided? So it's somewhat of a refresher for the community as well, but it's just another opportunity to kind of, as we're getting closer to that final product, confirm that we're still moving in the right direction, on the right track. And then the last phase is gonna be that final plan, so moving into the fall of this year, when we're working towards adoption of that plan and all of the other steps that come along with that. But yeah, so phase 3, this graphic here should look relatively familiar to you guys. Early in 2024, we went to City Council, Youth Council, and the Planning Commission and kind of asked what form of community engagement should we be doing as part of this process? And we broke it down into kind of 4 different quadrants. So we have on the left side, we have that virtual or online presence. On the right side, we have those in-person events. And then at the top, we have attending events, so things that are already taking place within the community. And at the bottom are hosting events. So hosting events here typically within this building or other city destinations. And from all of you guys and city council and youth council, we generally heard that a blend of all of those is the right mix. So our outreach and engagement process throughout this update has really been based on that feedback, trying to find that right balance of opportunities for the community to really participate in a variety of different ways, whether that's online or in person or here at the city or out in the community when they're kind of participating in other things. So that's just a reminder there, but that has really kind of informed how we engage with the community. In July of this year, we really started kicking off that phase 3 engagement. We attended things like the South Sound Barbecue Festival, which we also actually attended last year. We tend to target that one because it really does bring kind of that Lacey demographic really well. We also did a couple of the Depot District night markets, which was referenced earlier. We've also attended a couple of Lacey in Tune events, so also those as well. And then there's also been just a couple other, we're going to the Master Builders tomorrow, so this slide is a little bit ahead of that activity, but still wanted to get credit for it. And then we also distributed flyers at a couple other events, so just having a material out when maybe Parks or one of our other departments was at an event, and it was an opportunity to continue to get that word out. And then also on kind of more the digital side of things, we've pushed out this information through our city website, the actual comprehensive plan website, all of our different social media channels. We've had a couple news articles, Lacey Life, a couple different videos that were created to help kind of make this content more exciting and engaging. Also pushed it out to all of our different HOAs, through our planning counter and through kind of that hallway there. Also through our business distribution list. And then we've been developing and maintaining a contact list of people that are interested specifically in the comprehensive plan as we've been working through this update. So every time there's kind of a new milestone or different materials that are developed, we push that information out to that list as well. And then as part of this phase, we also launched 2 different online engagement platforms. One that's called Conveo, which we'll get to in a little bit, but it's really a review of our goal and policies, our draft goals and policies, and it allows the community to actually look at those goals and policies, but then provide comments directly in line on those. So it really kind of eliminates that extra step of kind of figuring out what a comment is saying and what they're actually speaking to directly. So you can actually provide that feedback directly in line. And then also other people can see those comments as well. So instead of getting the same comment maybe 4 or 5 times, somebody can second it or give it a thumbs up or expand upon it or say something else that's relevant to it. So it is a way to both provide comments directly to the project team, but then also kind of create somewhat of a dialogue between community members and kind of shared ideas in that sense. And then we also have a story map that we launched, which runs through all the work that we did around our future land use map, the different kind of mapping designations, associated zoning changes to go along with that. And I'll get into both of those in a second, but both of those are out there and live currently. They're linked within the staff report as well. So if you guys haven't had the opportunity yet, I definitely recommend checking out both of those. And then also sharing them with any of your groups, contact lists, anybody that might be interested. The more feedback that we get, the better. So that's really what our goal is right now. Yep, so our in-person events, I ran through a little bit of those, but in total so far, and given these are rough estimates, but we think we've had around 250 plus booth visits at these different community events. So that feels like a pretty good number. And again, this phase of outreach is more asking the question of, did we get it right? So there's not as much participation kind of as far as activities at these events this time around. Last time around, there were actually some, you had the opportunity to kind of write comments on the board and really provide feedback in that moment. Really, this time around, we've already kind of developed a lot of that information based on that feedback that we received. So we're really trying to drive people to those destinations where they can kind of confirm that, yes, we're on the right track, or provide additional comment and feedback for us where we can do some fine tuning. And then, so I talked about convey a little bit, and I am gonna see if I can jump into this. So I might stop sharing and then reshare. So anybody that's watching later or participating online can also follow along. See if I can do this. That's the one. Share. All right, there we go. So this is that online comment tool that I was talking about earlier. It starts with an introduction that it kind of explains what the tool is. We also included a video that should be there, but is not loading. So that's interesting. There's a video there that tells people how to navigate the site, how to participate, how to provide comments. And then it's broken out by different elements. So there's greenhouse gas emissions, resilience, economic development, land use. So you can hop into each one of these and actually, yep. So there's also a window to get demographic data. That's there, but after you visited the site once or completed that or X'd out of it, it should stop popping up. But we do want to capture that information to make sure that we are reaching a representative demographic of the community. So anytime that we really put information out there asking for feedback, we do create that opportunity to kind of check ourselves and make sure that we're successful in the distribution that we're doing. But yeah, back to land use element. So it kind of has an introductory section that gives people a description of what the land use element is, what its function is, what its purpose, how it operates in relation to the different elements, but then gets into the goals and policies. And you can see that these little ones, for example, here, this is a comment that was left for this example is by the Olympia Master Builders. And then provide actual specific comments so others can come along. This is all live. See what those comments are, give it a thumbs up, provide additional feedback, or provide your own comment next to it. But that is available and active for all of the different elements as part of the comprehensive plan. And then the other tool, I'm not going to quite go back to the PowerPoint yet. Hopefully I can just jump over there.
So before you go on, does anybody have any questions about this one?
I have a comment. When I was trolling through this and the other jurisdictions' websites, I felt like Lacey had by far the most visually appealing and easiest to go through. I think we've done an excellent job. So thank you all for that. It definitely beats the pants off of. We won't name them.
And
Like our roads.
Got it.
And that was one of the things that we were striving for at the beginning of this update process. Comprehensive plans can tend to be very verbose and not very thrilling, let's say. So in recognition of that, there was a kind of intentional effort to find ways to make it more graphic heavy, make more of an interactive thing, and really break it down and get as succinct as possible with these concepts and ideas that we're talking about. So it is more accessible to a broader range. So it's encouraging to hear that that's coming across. So yeah, the other one that we launched at the same time and is linked to that last platform is a story map. And this one we use because it really lends itself well to looking at maps, which is the future land use map and our zoning map. And it's more of a tool that you can use to kind of navigate around the community and zoom into different areas. So as part of this, there's an introduction that kind of goes into details on what a future land use map is, why it's important, how it again relates to the comprehensive plan and fits in with other planning documents that we do at the city. So that's the future land use 101. And then from there, it actually goes into a breakdown of the future land use map. And we'll see how quickly this loads when I'm sharing things through a Zoom channel. Find out. There we go. Okay. So, and this I will say works on computers, it works on tablets, it works on phones. So however folks access this information, it is available. We also did identify at the beginning that here at City Hall and at the library, we do have computers with internet access. that are also available to the community. So again, trying to make this as accessible as possible. So we run through the future land use map draft, as you guys are all relatively familiar with, and then we jump into zoning consistency, so how the zoning layers relate to the future land use map. Then there's actually kind of a guided tour that looks at a couple different proposed changes that we're talking about. I'm not gonna go through all of this right now, but then from there we move into community rezone requests. So again, this is also something we looked at. So it gives a discussion of all of those, and then it navigates around the community to kind of show the ones that we're thinking about as part of this update process. And then jumps into zoning code text updates, and then they provide your feedback at the bottom. I will note that there are also multiple opportunities throughout the story map to provide your feedback, but then there's also one at the end too, just in case there's any additional comments, ideas, feedback that people have at the end. And then this points back to either the goals and policies platform that we were just looking at, Conveo, or back to the comprehensive plan website.
So I got a question for you. So these are available on computers that are here and at the library. Is there either on the homepage, a quick link or instructions on how to find these?
Yep.
You go right to the city's website. There's right at
Okay.
the very top of the city's website, right?
Okay.
now.
Comp
Yeah,
plan,
there's- Yep.
We're all
So-
about banners and things, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've been pushing this information out through really every communication channel we have and in person. So we have, and actually, I think that's my next slide. Perfect. So yeah, we are in the midst of this effort right now. So we are running this through to the end of July. But as of July 18th, we did a kind of quick snapshot of how much traction, how much activity we're getting through these different platforms. So we've had 1,767 site visits so far, which feels encouraging. Of those site visits, 136 of them have provide additional comments, which is right about actually what we're expecting. We expected kind of in 2024 to get a lot more feedback, which is what we were looking for. But as we get closer to the final product, what we're anticipating is that as we get more accurate and get to that information, ideally, if we're doing it right, the feedback that, or the information that we're putting out there is in line with what the community is looking for. So over time, we are expecting those comments to kind of drop off as we're getting to the end of that, which is, at least I'd like to think what we're seeing, so. And then we did do a quick pie chart of kind of breaking down what kind of type of comments we're gonna see. So we'll take this back to you again later in August with actually more meaningful breakdown of the feedback that we're getting. But for right now, we broke it out just into big kind of buckets as far as concerns, questions, suggestions, and support. So we are getting some suggestions. We're getting a lot of support. We're getting a few concern comments in there, but all of that stuff that we're gonna take a look at and then share with you on the 12th or 13th, I think on the 13th
Yep,
of
so-
August right now.
Yep, so we're also gonna be taking this to the city council, so city council's actually gonna see this a day before you all will. So they're gonna see it on August 12th at a work session, and then you all will see it August 13th. That will be your opportunity to not only review the feedback, but also at that point, we should have at that point some suggestions for any kind of changes in direction related to goals and policies. So planning commission can review those as well as, Hans, I don't know, you probably looked at this more than I have, but I don't think we're looking at any major shifts in direction at this point. There probably will be some tweaks generally to policies, but nothing major at this point. So, but we'll certainly share that with you, and we don't want to jump to conclusions too early. We still have until July 31st is when we're gonna go take this down. So, or it's gonna be live through July 31st. We're gonna take it down August 1st. So still have about a little over a week to finish this out. So we don't want to prematurely jump the gun on anything, but at this point, we're not expecting anything major.
Yep. Any questions so far?
Judy, you good?
Yeah, so that really brings me to my last slide, which is the kind of timeline from here until the end of the year. So we're still, as I said earlier, in phase 3, the highlighted one, July 23rd, that's where we're at today. And then in August, Ryan touched on this a little bit. So August 12th, we're taking this information to city council. There's just kind of a briefing update. And then the next day, we're coming back to you guys with that full blown findings and report as far as what we've heard through this outreach process. And then looking forward past August, towards the end of the year, we're actually updating our city, or I should say the comprehensive plan website from its kind of workshop style, collecting feedback style, kind of setup that it is currently, to one that's actually how it's going to exist in the future as the comprehensive plan website. So it'll have all of our goals and policies. It'll have connections and how you can kind of link from one to the other, and you can search by themes or topics that you're interested in, things like that. So we'll be starting to transition the website. Planning Commission public hearing, so I don't know that we have a specific date for that one set yet.
A little bit in flux on that,
But
yeah.
that's gonna be coming sometime later, following kind of all the feedback that we've heard, reviewing that feedback, and then we'll move into that public hearing. We'll give a notice to Commerce. There'll be some level of SEPA review. Planning Commission will ultimately, hopefully, provide a recommendation to council. And then we'll take it to council for additional levels of review, or rounds of review, before final adoption, before the end of the year. But yeah, with that, that's everything that I have. So happy to take any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas.
So my question is, what is our target date for our final review and recommendation?
Are you talking about the public hearing date or?
No, when we are finally gonna say to the city council,
It's done.
September, maybe October at this point. Originally, we were hoping for a late August public hearing. At this point, that may not be feasible, given that August 12th or August 13th will be the review of the goals and policies. We also need to go live on a fully functional website between now and when the public hearing occurs. And so at this point, it's probably better, thinking about public hearing date would be maybe sometime in September, with a potential recommendation coming late September or October. And then that still gives us time to work with council. They will start heading into budget season here relatively soon. And our opportunities to meet with them will be fairly limited at that point, but we want to get through that process by the end of December. So at this point, I feel like that's a reasonable timeline.
so I personally am gonna ask if we could avoid putting that on, hey, Elliot, if we could avoid putting that on the September 24 agenda,
Okay, avoid that day.
because I am in Hawaii that week.
Don't
I
want to
really
remote
want to
in.
be part of the conversation.
Okay, so no public hearing September 24th.
Yes,
Okay.
and for our final review, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments?
No.
Judy?
Thank you for the update.
I do not, thank you.
One of the things that has always impressed me, and one of the reasons why I wanted to be part of Lacey City Council way back when, is because of Lacey's commitment to citizen engagement.
Yeah.
And it is just impressive. Our transparency is not always easy in government. I mean, it is sometimes really hard with all of the layers that we've got to put into everything. But you guys do a good job. And I know as a citizen, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. So certainly, sorry for such a short meeting tonight. But really what our intent was to not only inform you about kind of what's going on with Pop Plan, the process, but also to have you share that information with your friends, family, colleagues, et cetera. So we still have a little over a week to go. We're still trying to get as much feedback as possible. As Hans said, this is a process that's kind of starting with a bang and ending with a little bit of a whimper, but that's a good thing. As we go along, that's the way it should be. So, but we still want to make sure everybody's voice is heard. So if there are folks out there that want to participate, in these final stages, this is the way to be able to do that.
Awesome. All right, our next meeting is in 3 weeks, August 13th. And thank you all. You've got quite a bit of evening left to enjoy the sunshine.
Yes.
So we will see you all in 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.
Good night.
Yeah, and so if we can target that public hearing, the first